Good morning and welcome to the number one Group of Five college football podcast in the world. We are the Group of Five guys. Our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. Or you can download the Varsity app for free and listen to the show on there. On this episode, conference realignment still. Once again, we can bookmark that probably for the rest of the season. We got to talk some transfer portal updates. Main topic of discussion is we're going to talk about the reasons people do not go to games and how we can get them to go to games. And then we'll preview the Thursday night action and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this, but you guys are on the forefront of this. And
I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, I love this part of the season. We got 2 Thursday night games this week. We got Friday night games. We got a ton of games on Saturday. Then next week, we got Tuesday night football, I believe.
I believe you're correct. I think we'll have pretty soon here almost football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is going to be awesome. And that's why we're this 3-day-a-week show. We can really get into the midweek games and be up on those. So it's going to be awesome. We're in October. Halloween, month of Halloween.
I'd love to see it.
It's all great stuff.
Love to see it. Now, hey, if you're on Facebook or on Twitter Live, go over to the YouTube.
America, go to the YouTube right now.
Pretty good live chat gets going on there. Bunch of people in there talking, asking questions, commenting, all that good stuff. I got to say, speaking of having football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you also have it Sunday and Monday. I got to say, Jeff, I've watched like a series of NFL football this year. Now, big problem is I'm a Dolphins fan. And I didn't even know. I woke up Tuesday morning and just, flipped on my ESPN app and I have the Dolphins as my favorite, I was like, oh, wow. Played the Titans on Monday Night Football last night. I had no idea. That's how bad. That's how we have fallen off. Ever since they blew a 2-touchdown lead to the Titans last year on a Monday night game, it's been the worst organization in sports. It's unbelievable.
Well, unbelievable. I'm in the same boat. You can see lifelong Las Vegas, Oakland, LA Raider fan, and we are a bad organization. You get a bona fide number one receiver in Devonta Adams coming in, and you screw that up, and now he's requesting a trade. It is becoming harder and harder. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be a Raider fan for the rest of my life, but damn it, can we just do something right in our organization? Yeah. When your owner can't even get his own haircut right, consistently, how the hell do you expect to run an NFL team? But I'm with you. I haven't watched hardly much NFL at all. I'm in a fantasy league. I hardly even set my lineup. And it's just like, I'm so dialed in on college football, man. It's awesome.
Well, it's so much better, and I think there's a couple things to it, and I think we'll get into some of that today with our topic about going to the games. But I agree to a degree with the Tom Brady's of the world that it just the product seems lesser. I don't know. I don't know what it is, because obviously all those guys are way better than I ever was. That's for damn sure. But like, it just, I don't know. It's not as exciting to me. It's almost like you pretty much know the Chiefs are probably going to win it all at this point. And when the Chiefs play, you see more of Taylor Swift than you see of anybody on the field.
Oh no,
it's kind of like
they're broken up, or their contracts scheduled
their
for them
contract
to break
expired.
Up, I think.
I'll tell you, dude. I might have a special God-given ability to like decipher through bullshit. Like, I think, well, I shouldn't have used a cuss word, but I think they call that discernment. But like, I literally, maybe I'm wrong sometimes, but I literally, my wife and I'll meet somebody or whatever, and immediately I'm like, man, that guy's a fraud.
Oh yeah, you can tell quick.
Complete fraud. And I felt this way about certain things that our esteemed media and government kind of forced us into a couple years back. I felt this kind of way about the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift relationship, and everybody's like, well, why? What would benefit him? Oh, I don't know. He signed a however many $1 million Pfizer contract at the same exact time he started dating her. He's on every commercial out there. Now he's in movies, and now he sucks also, by the way. He's my
same time that him and his brother started a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. And then they're like, well, what would that benefit Taylor Swift? Oh, I don't know. Just an entire NFL audience of men that didn't give a crap about her before, that now, now when their wife says, hey, let's go to the Taylor Swift concert. Oh, okay. Yeah. Travis Kelce. Blah, blah, blah. That's what we're dealing with now. And if you can't see through that stuff, I see through that stuff, and I'm just like, how can you not?
It's collusion.
But buddy, there's people that can't see through it.
I know.
I mean, we know that. We know that. Hey, before we go any further, you guys make sure you support those people that support us. And number one company that's doing that is Deca Gray Coffee. Our buddy Devin over there at Deca Gray. Visit decagray.com. Get you the Group of Five Guys Gameday Dark Roast. This is a custom blend made specifically for us. Roast to order. All their coffees are roast to order on the website. Use our code GOFG. 10% discount plus free shipping, and that shipping has been very quick anytime I've ordered anything. So check out decagray.com. Got to update you on the important issue of our GoFundMe that we started for the victims of Hurricane Helene. Couple things, man. I actually was messaging with Sean Clark, the head coach at App State, for a little bit. He said, man, it's way worse than you even have seen. To use his words, I hope he's all right. It looks like a war zone in their community, is what he said. And the GoFundMe, I'll be honest, man, I never thought, I thought we'd make a few $100, maybe $1,000, man, but credit to everybody that's pitched in and shared it. Last I checked, we're at like $8,500 right now.
Yep.
And then, a couple people have asked on Twitter, I'm not sure if they're trolling or not, to be honest, but I'll answer the question, I suppose. If you're using GoFundMe, how do you give 100%? Because GoFundMe is going to take 3% or whatever. Well, number one, we don't have the ability. I'm not going to ask you to give me money, because you got to use some type of a platform to get the money. And then number two, when I say 100% is going to the community, we're not taking any. Like I don't know. I just thought that was kind of obvious what was meant by that. But what we're going to do is we've been working with a couple different organizations and people that are in that area. And not sure if we're going to pick a couple organizations or just one. The best one that makes sure that the people and the community, and not the government or, the university as a, what I mean? We just want to make sure it gets the most help that it can give. So anyway, a little update on that, I guess.
Yeah, and then wanted to piggyback off that real quick. the processing fees for people that are concerned, which to me is just like, come on, guys, we're trying to do a good thing here. We're trying to help it out. We're going to cover those. So the money that is given on them, we're going to put in extra to make sure that we cover those processing fees. So your money, 100% of every penny will go to that. We'll cover the processing fees. If that's something that people are worried about, we'll take care of that. So your money goes to help as many people as possible, because you're starting to see videos come out. And he's right. It looks like a war zone. I mean, there's towns, literal mountain towns, that are gone. There's no buildings left. It's pretty shocking. And I don't know. It's the internet. It's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe. But when you're seeing video after video of people saying that they're not getting help and there's no way in and no way out, people are trapped. And it's sad to see. So we just want to try and do whatever we can to help. And that's what we're going to do. And House United, also, they sent us these shirts. You can go, and I'll repost it today on my Twitter. But all the proceeds to these shirts, I believe, Sprouse, are going as well, going to be donated to the relief efforts. So go check them out at House United.
Yeah, House United on Twitter, and it's Headline Sports is the company, I believe, that's making the shirts. Shout out to them. There's a bunch of different ways, right? We're not asking everybody to give to our deal. Reason we did that was because we thought, like it has, we gained some traction and get more eyes than just the average, giving it straight to the Red Cross or Samaritan's Purse or something like that. Because you can see who's donated on there, and there's a lot of people on there that that I know from high school or something that have given that I don't think would have necessarily given if there wasn't this awareness piece. And that's why we did it that way. Now to talk football a little bit, App State's playing at Marshall this week. They've been using, as far as I know, using Marshall's facilities. So shout out to Marshall for that. That's always a freaking big game. You just wonder, man, and it would be excusable, to be honest, at this point, if App State had a tough season, to be honest. You look at Tulane a couple years ago, where they had their whole season they had to spend basically in Birmingham. They won 2 games that year. And then they came back the next year and beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. So, it's one of those things where you're already, as a coach, as a program, trying to eliminate distractions. And this is one that can't be eliminated, right? I mean, you got people still trying to reunite with their families, So, man, it's scary, to be honest. It's pretty intense, and you just hope and pray that everybody is alive, is well, and has the right insurance and everything that they're going to need to get back to whatever amount of normal they can get back to.
And some people, it's going to be tough for them to get back there. When you lose everything, it's not like a house gets put back up in a couple weeks. Like some people lost their entire house or their business that, has been generating revenue for them. And their family is gone. So I think that it's not just a one-time thing. It's going to get better next week. Like, it is going to take months, probably close to a year for some people. Could be even longer. So just, thoughts and prayers to everyone that has been affected. Anything we can try and do to help, we want to be there. And it's just a tough situation. I was talking to Scarlett, my wife, last night, and I was on the phone with you, Sprouse, and she stopped. She's like, you realize if you guys didn't, because we had Zeke's wedding Friday night, we were fully planning and expecting to go to Boone for that game, and kind of decided once kickoff time was released, it's just going to be so tough to get there on Saturday morning. We decided not to go. We would have possibly been stuck there. Who knows what would have happened? We could have been driving down the mountain, and interstate gives out. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild how stuff like that, didn't for everybody, but it kind of worked out for us, a certain way. But anyway, Let's talk some Group of 5 football, shall we?
Let's do it.
Jeff, we have a proposed
Oh boy.
20. What have we got going on here? Power 2 conference proposal. Haven't we been saying for like 2 years now, Jeff, that these SEC and these Big Ten, they're meeting behind closed doors. They're like a cabal. They meet behind closed doors. It's like the Illuminati. And having these meetings, making decisions for everybody else. And we've been trying to say it for years. ACC, Big 12, Pac-12. Y'all are not part of this either. Y'all think y'all are. Y'all beat your chest because ESPN calls you a Power 4 school. You're not part of what they want. But they did propose this new relegation Super League. There's a lot to it, Jeff. I know you got some of the details on it.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to read what they have here. This is by Timothy Rapp from Bleacher Report. It says College Football Super League proposal revealed. And the gist of it is, it says on Tuesday, a group of prominent business leaders, athletic directors, school presidents announced a proposal for a new college football Super League. Take the 136 FBS schools into 2 conferences. The Power 12 conferences would be comprised of 72 schools drawn from the current Power 5 conferences, while the Group of 8 conference would feature 64 schools from the current Group of 5 conferences. The Group of 8 would have a chance to earn promotion into the Power 12 conference after a given season, but the Power 12 schools would not face relegation. The Power 12 and would be split into 12 divisions featuring a geographical and results-based schedule model to foster more competitive matchups while still preserving certain long-stand rivalries between teams in the different divisions. Basically, you would come and have rivals like Michigan, Ohio State would end up in different divisions, and prominent institutions like Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, USC, and Oregon were split apart in their own divisions. The season would conclude in a 24-team playoff. The goal is a new Super League would remedy the disruption and disorder within college sports and address numerous legal battles. There it is. The NCAA is currently facing, including the proposed House settlement. It goes on a little bit more, but essentially this is what you got. So they're proposing the Power 12 conferences.
Group of 8.
And Group of 8. But how do you have promotion but don't? So question I have is, a group of 8 team gets promoted, can they be relegated later? Or
yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's and Mr. Juan just said that. That's the big problem. Is the Power 4 can't get relegated. And what'd you say it was? 72 teams, buddy. There ain't. It's funny how they do it, right? They listed off specifically those 12 schools, and they're going to put them all in separate divisions. You want to know what their goal is by that? That those 12 make the playoffs every single year. Yep. That's the goal. But they do that, and then at the same time, and then so they're literally telling you that the other people in that group or Power 12, Power 2, whatever it is not at the same level as those specific ones, but yet they can't be relegated.
Yeah, and they're not going to play each other, or are they during the season? Because if they're in separate divisions, because they're still going to want Ohio State, Michigan, or are they just wanting that to be in the playoff every year?
Well, if they're having 12, that's got to be a 6 or it's got to be like a 6 or 8 team.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd keep.
So
those
they'll have to play
games.
non-divisional.
Yeah,
it seems like it'd be similar to the NFL. The funny thing is, like, I like a lot of the stuff about it, regional, geographical. Like, I like that, but I don't like. What are they gonna? I'd be more okay if they did it specifically geographical, where you did have a Florida division, and it was FIU, FAU, South Florida, UCF, Miami, Florida State, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, come on, you guys could never compete." First of all, this year they all could compete. It ain't no question about that. But the argument that I've always made is, well, they would catch up because you would get recruits if they were playing in the same division, if you had the same access, if you had the same TV split. That's which I don't know why people don't think that. People think that if FIU, let's just say, I'm sorry to use FIU, Coach Mack here, but if FIU jumped to the SEC tomorrow, yeah, it would be rough sledding. But give them several years to have the same money and same access to everything, they would catch up.
Yeah, you're talking millions of dollars a year, and more TV, like a better TV, deal, more TV exposure. More kids are going to want to go. College football is recruiting, guys. It's recruiting and building a program. If you have more money and have more resources to grow your athletic department, to grow your facilities, it's going to attract, it's going to make the recruiting process more competitive. And I think that's what they don't want either, because now these Power 4, Power 12, whatever the hell it's going to be, has to really compete against the FAU or FIU of the world, where it's like, okay, come on, we have just as nice stuff as they do. We're on TV just as much as they are. Why wouldn't you come here? Let's go. And you're going to play Florida State, Miami every year, or whatever it ends up being. Of course they're going to want to come and play. They want to get on the field. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the kids want. They want to play, be successful, and have a chance to go to the NFL.
And have a chance to win something.
That too.
Something meaningful. It almost reminds me a little bit, Jeff, and we were just talking about it before the show on Twitter. Somebody put, in the state of Tennessee, you have the Board of Regents. I don't even know what another secret group that meets.
Yep.
And they have blocked, as much as we give the president of MTSU trouble on here, the Board of Regents has blocked MTSU for starting a law school, starting a medical school. And it's simply because they do not want them to be able to compete. It's as simple as that.
It's absolutely mind-blowing how it's like, I don't even know what the term is. I mean, it's all politics, right? But my wife is a professor at MTSU in the engineering program. They are unable to grow their engineering program because of I don't even know. I don't want to say it's a law, but I think it's Tennessee Tech. They have like the stranglehold over engineering, and it's something from like a long time ago that was put in place to where MTSU can't do certain things with certain departments and grow. It's like, this is a business like anything else. You should be able to grow every facet, every aspect of your school and make it competitive. Like, they're worried, I guess, about kids, not going to Tech or not going to Tennessee for certain, degrees or programs. No, bullshit. Be the best in the state and be competitive, and you should have to attract the top, talent or students or whatever it is. And it goes all the way to football as well. And it's part of why they don't want to allow schools like MTSU to grow and be better, because they're worried that at some point they'll ascend and be better. It's like, it's trash, man. It just pisses me off. It really does.
Yeah, it really does. And like you said, you should be the best. You should have to, if football related, you should have to beat teams on the field to get your spot, not beat them because you have a golden helmet and have been around for 100 years or however many years. It's I don't know, man. It really bothers me when we start talking about this kind of stuff, because I also think, as we get into our next topic of why fans don't go, I also think that has a little something to it. But we'll talk about that. First, I wanted to go to, we had two coaches that are potentially on the hot seat. Both in the American. You had Biff Poggi at Charlotte. You had his defensive coordinator on Twitter going back and forth with fans. And then you had Trent Dilfer, who, it was just what he said. I guess the way he said it was kind of inappropriate, I think, for the setting. And Poggi kind of apologized, and Dilfer pretty much doubled down. So I know you got both of those clips.
Yeah, we'll start with Dilfer and just go from there. Talk about it, and then go to Poggi.
Way right now. with a game like this, with a team like this, that with Navy, when you get off to,
He can come up. It's like two of them. It's not like this is
Yes.
freaking Alabama. Let's go. Come on, bud. You can come up here. Go ahead. See.
Trent, during the post-game presser, you quoted, "This is not freaking Alabama." What would you say to UAB fans who may have perceived this as something that you didn't mean to say, or could you just elaborate on what you meant to say?
Were you there?
I was not there.
There's my answer.
Well, I'm here today.
There were two people there, okay? And my grandson wanted to come up, and I heard like a little stirring. I said, "There's two people here. This isn't freaking Alabama's press conference. My grandson can come up."
But you are aware of this program's history.
I am very aware of this program's history.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, there's the Dilfer clip.
Can I say something?
Please, by all means.
Okay, like let's be 100% here. What he's saying is true. Like it's true, right? What he means is there was two reporters in the press conference. It's not like there's a room full of ESPN and all these people like they would be at Alabama. However, there's the history between the University of Alabama, similar to like what we were just talking about with these other schools and Alabama and UAB having to lose their football program for a little bit. But then it was also like, to me, felt like he was dodging the question about why you just lost by 30 points to Navy. And you know, it's, man, you're the head coach. You played quarterback in the NFL for a long time, won a Super Bowl. You gotta be better with media training than that. You know, like there's stuff you can say, and you have a fan base that's already thinking that, hey man, we screwed up with this hire, and now you're basically, you know, trash talking your own program as if you're not, you know, as if you are lesser. And it's just tone deaf, to be honest. And again, when you're not winning, and you have won at that school before, not you, but they have won, those things get amplified, man. It's like, oh, we're not winning. Oh, now he thinks we're not, you know, we're a small time program. You know, now he's dodging questions about Navy. Not a good look. Not a good look, Trent Dilfer.
No, it's not a good look. And I think, to me, it almost seems, I don't want to say it was on purpose. Like, but I think, because you could have easily been like, guys, this is my grandson. There's just some things that, you know, are bigger than the game. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. Yeah. You could have said numerous different things and not invoked Alabama. Now, are people being sensitive? Maybe. It's probably a little bit of both. But at the same time, like, just choose your words wisely, dude. Like, you've worked in the media. You know how this is. Like, most of the people are going to take that as a slight. And like you said, dude's on the hot seat, who it seems like they passed up Brian Vincent, right, to hire Dilfer. And look at what Vincent's doing.
At a place that's more difficult to succeed at.
Yep.
Now let me play devil's advocate here. This is what happens sometimes too. I start thinking of things. Maybe it was his way of like letting out frustration that, you know, maybe he's thinking, you know, we should have more coverage. Like we should have he's kind of like where we're at. Right. And he's saying, you know, oh, come on guys. Like y'all don't even maybe it's a shot at the media. Like y'all don't even want to talk about the game. You're just ready to, you know what I'm saying?
Like basically being like, there's only two of y'all here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when there should be more, it doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't. It feels like he's checked out a little bit to me.
Well, yeah. And then to, you know, the contempt kind of in his voice. And if you would watch the video, It seemed like he was kind of pissed that the reporter asked a question. Again, like all this has nothing to do with the on the field product.
Right.
So like maybe he's just annoyed at it, which I can understand that. But I don't know. Just a tough comment, tough take. Don't like it.
Go to Poji's clip.
Start with a statement. Came to my attention Sunday morning. We got back late from Houston, or early from Houston Sunday morning. Came to my attention after that Coach Osborne had been in a inappropriate back and forth with a fan on Twitter. I met with Coach Osborne. We had a very stern talk. That is completely unacceptable. He knows it. He issued a apology, and it will not happen again. And what I said to him was this: go home tonight and thank God that we coach at a place where our fans care. Because look, I'm not going to name any names, but we have been places, and I have been places where you play and nobody cares. Our fans care. They show up. This program's 12 years old, hasn't had the wins our fans wanted, but they keep showing up. And it's 3 straight sellouts. I think Saturday's supposed to be like standing room only tickets. There are schools who win a lot of games that would die for that. And I love the fact that when we win, they're joyous, and when we lose, they take it as hard as we do. And you got to have thick skin if you're going to be in this business, whether you're a player, you're a coach, you're an AD, you're a chancellor, whatever it is. You got to have thick skin. And the day our fans stop caring, that will be a problem. And I love the fact that I don't know how they do it, but they'll get a snippet of a play and they'll break it down. I don't know where they get it or how they get it, but and they love it. And I appreciate that. I have said a million times, more than I can count on my toes and my fingers, I love our fans, and it's a great fan base. And they want to win, and so do we. And that's what we're working on. Okay. I want to thank.
I like that.
That was a perfect response.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was a great response.
Now I'm sure you're going to have some fans that are still, unhappy, which I would be still a little salty too. I mean, some of that back and forth on Twitter, you can't do it if you're a coach, especially again when you're not winning. And it's interesting because he is right about Charlotte fans. I mean, that gets us into our topic, right? The reasons people don't go to games and how we can get them to start going to games. And the first thing that everybody says is, well, start winning. Well, for every one of these excuses, I can show you a team that's not doing that and has fans, or I can show you a team that's is doing it and still doesn't have fans, right? So winning is what everybody says, and I get that, right? Everybody loves a winner, but Charlotte is a place that hasn't won, and like he just said, they have 3 sellouts in a row. We went 3 years ago, Jeff, and honestly,
during COVID.
we went to App State on a Thursday night game, and then kind of on our way back, we were like, well, let's go to Charlotte. It was a Friday night game, not having any expectations at all. And it was one of the best student sections we've been to for that one. And, he's right about what he said. When they stop caring, that's when it's really bad. And that's kind of what we have at middle right now, is just they don't care at all. I mean, it's just whatever. They're not mad. They don't care. They don't go. They don't support. They don't watch. They don't any of it.
Disengaged.
But there's all these excuses. The team doesn't win, or there's so much else to do in this town. And again, that's another one where Charlotte, you're in a metro area. It's normally the cities, right? The schools that are in the city, FIU, Georgia State right in Atlanta, where you're in a city, there's a lot going on. There's an NFL team. There's this and that. Well, Charlotte's got all that, and they're not winning. They still have fans. I think you have this other excuse of it's better on TV. which, I'll admit there's times, especially because I'm trying to watch all the games, when I do enjoy being in front of the TV. But man, there's nothing like being at a game, at a good game with a great atmosphere. I mean, those are the best. That's my favorite thing in the world to do. It don't matter where it's at. Being there, tailgating, the whole thing with all my buddies, like bringing my family there, getting them involved. I mean, I can't think of something that I would rather do than that, than go to a football game and tailgate with my family. There's these others. A lot of them, man, I'll say this, the schools do such a poor job, I think, with game day atmosphere. I think that's a big problem. I think, this is not a knock. I think that this is a huge part of college football. But I also think sometimes they got to make changes. Some of these athletic directors or presidents or whoever it is are so wrapped up in tradition that really isn't even there, that they won't change anything. And I got to say, I got to talk about middle, Jeff. I love the Band of Blue. I love it. I think they're very good. But we were standing there on the field for the homecoming game, and the band was out there. My wife said to me, she's like, they've been playing these same 3 songs on repeat for 20 years. And I'm like, I know. And I get it. It's a band. They're going to play the fight song. They're going to play, whatever else they play. But at some point, it's like, okay, look, guys, if you're not going to play music, if you have a terrible sound system and your band is going to be the between play, you gotta switch it up. Like, you gotta have something that's new or different or innovative or anything at all. So that's something that was really driving me crazy a couple weeks ago. And then I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, that's part of the atmosphere. It's part of all of it. And, they do that. Sound systems are bad. There's no music going. We've been saying that for years. But anyway, I want to let you chime in a little bit. I've been rambling here.
No, you're good. It's all part of a bigger plan that needs to be put in place in the big picture, because it starts with engaging your student body as a president, as an athletic director, having pride in the school that you go to, because your game day atmosphere, I think, to me is what makes or can make or break a game day experience, like how it is in the game. You go to Boone and App State, I don't care who they're playing. We went on a Thursday night against Marshall. Absolutely rocking. Great atmosphere. Every home game they have. And why? Because they have pride in their school. The students have it. They've had it for decades. And the ones that are graduated come back. They show up to games. They tailgate. They create a tradition of their own with their family. And it becomes a thing. So it takes, honestly, like 30-ish years to like build that. And it's gotta start from when they were students, transitions to when they're parents and alumni, and they come back, and it just builds, and then it builds, and then it builds. Winning does matter. Winning cures a lot. It does. But it starts with the students and the fans. And when you have a school that really doesn't care, doesn't invest in their students, not only, the education side, their kids are paying to go to school there. But you can just tell when you're on campus whether the school really cares about the students or not, whether they care about allowing the students to have a memorable 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is. If the student is invested in the university, they're going to come back and support their program, their school of business or liberal arts or whatever it is. And if they were there and they cared about their school, odds are they've probably went to a basketball game or a football game. And if they've had a good time there, and it just snowballs and builds, and they're going to want to come back and do it. But when you have a school, and I'm just using ours as an example because it seems to be the poster child for everything not to do. Like, you don't engage your student body from a president standpoint, from a staff standpoint. It's, they always say, oh, it's a commuter school. Well, it doesn't have to be. Like, you've allowed that apathetic mindset
Right.
to sit in. You haven't invested on campus and like updated the student housing there. Like, you've built all these nice new buildings, for your concrete program and different programs, but it just seems to be like all we want is the money, and the money coming in. We're the biggest undergrad in Tennessee, but that's all we really care about. And you can say that you don't, but actions speak louder than words. And then it just snowballs. You had years and years of not doing that, and now couple that with not investing in athletic facilities, you had the great season when we won the New Orleans Bowl in 2009, and nothing was capitalized. Nothing was invested in. And you rode that out for a few years playing money ball, thinking you can still win and not have to invest and just do whatever you want with the money. Mismanagement or wherever it went, couldn't tell you. And then now what you're seeing is apathy, disengagement. People feel that the university doesn't care about them, and they have no pride in their school.
Well, I think you're spot on with a couple of things there, Jeff. The pride in the school, because I wanted to bring up Liberty for a second. I know, Liberty. Ooh, the villain. A lot of people say that too. Oh, have free beer, have cheap beer. Yeah, but come on, man. That's such a cop out. First of all, you can get beer for cheap at a lot of places. Louisiana's got the cheapest beer in college football. They've been struggling for a long time with fans. But Liberty doesn't have beer, and they don't have a bar, where they're trying to get to or whatever, or any of that stuff. So I get it. But you know what the common denominator is there is those kids want to go to school there. They want to be there. They're glad they go there. It's not their backup school or their fallback school. Now, you can say, again, to use middle, you can say, well, I wanted to go to Tennessee, and, and there would be more people that want to go to middle if they had the programs that people want, but Board of Regents won't let them have them. There is that. But, they want to be there. They're glad they go there. They're glad they graduate. They'll graduate from there. And you look at when we go to games, right? And you see good fan bases, what do you see? You see the whole family at the game, right? You see their dad graduated in the 80s or the 70s. You see the kid graduated, 2015. Now they got married. Now their wife's coming to the games. Their kids are coming to their games. Their wife's family's coming to the game. So where you might have went from one student to now several generations of alumni, of fans, and now you're all coming. You've literally tripled, quadrupled, your part in coming to the games. And if everybody would do that, that's how you build a fan base. And that's how you build generations of fan bases. That's why when you talk to these people that are Alabama or Tennessee fans, hey, why are you a Tennessee fan? Oh, I don't know. Dad was a fan. Did Dad go there? No. Why is he a fan? Oh, I don't know. His dad was a Tennessee fan. Did he go there? No. Oh, well, great-great-granddad went there once. And so now they got a whole family of fans, a whole generation of fans, and they don't even know why, other than they live within 5 hours, and great-granddad might have graduated from there. But, until people are proud that they go there, man, that's the big thing. I like nothing more than saying I graduated from Middle Tennessee. I don't, and it's not like we're applying to be, it's not like a lot of people are getting these jobs where you get a pat on the back because you went to Harvard or something. We're not talking Harvard and Yale here, Jeff. So I don't know, but I think that's a big thing. One other thing I did want to bring up, and this is a fear of mine that I have with this transfer portal. You look at professional sports now, right? And people are not nearly as much. I'm a Dolphins fan. You're a Raiders fan. I'm a Heat fan. You're a Warriors fan. But you go a generation below us, or even part of our generation, and they're not fans of teams. They're LeBron fans.
Yeah.
They're Steph Curry fans. They're whatever fans. And they're going to just be a fan of whatever team their player plays for. And in college, now you don't have it anymore where, hey, man, I'm a business major, and I was in every single class with the starting quarterback for 4 years. Not anymore, you're not. You might have him for a year. He might go to class. And so there's a lot less of that too now. There's a lot less of like, I actually know these guys. Like these are actually my peers that live in the same, on-campus dorms freshman year or live in the off-campus apartments, the same one as me. We have, we party together. We do group homeworks together and stuff like that. You're not going to have that anymore. And the more and more we get into this transfer portal stuff, the more and more it's going to be like that. And so, to me, you're going to get less and less school pride. If you don't even have school pride from the players on the team, you're sure as hell not going to get it from the student body or the community. I don't know. I feel like I could talk about it all day. It just really gets me like animated. And it's very difficult to be clear on what I'm trying to say because I get so worked up about it.
Well, this is the thing about it is it's not just one thing. People try and pigeonhole it, but it's a collective, multiple aspect problem and issue when it comes to how to get fans in and then how to keep fans. Because in order to get fans in the game, they got to have pride and feel a sense of belonging to want to go to the games somehow, some way, some connection. And then once they're in, especially if they're students, how do you keep them in there from leaving at halftime to go into the bar and starting their night or their afternoon or whatever the case may be? And that's in-game atmosphere. That's education, like game education, football education, like having it, like, so it's so many different things. And when you talk about game atmosphere, like what is that? Sound, are there things going on at the game? Do you have a beer garden now? Like that's a play that people didn't have to worry about before. Like just so many aspects, and you got to have leadership. You have to have leadership in the athletic department, in the universities, and they have to do a good job of delegating and telling their staff what's important. This is what you need to focus on. Because they're long-term plays, unless you're already at the point of a school that has done this for a while. And it's easier to maintain when you have a good core fan base that's engaged, rather than once you lose them, it's so much harder to get them back. It's so much more difficult to re-engage, to resell these people on the idea of why you should be a fan of that school.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a personal relationship, right? It takes forever to build trust and confidence in a person. But real quick, you can shatter that. One other thing, Jeff, I'm so sorry that I want to say about this. About you mentioned education, and we've talked about this before about educating your fan base about who's the really good players, who they're playing are really good players. And an example would be, when I was growing up as a young Marlins fan, you'd go to a Marlins versus Mets game. There'd be like 1,200 people there. And this is back when they played at the Dolphin Stadium too. So there would be nobody there. But when they played the Yankees, Jeter was coming to town, it'd be packed. Be a sellout. When I was a kid, I remember we would go. Remember Steven Strasburg pitch for the Nationals? He was a phenom. When that first year when he came to pitch, me and all my buddies were like, "Hey, let's go watch Strasburg pitch." When Ohtani was there this past year, he hit like 6 home runs in one game against our sorry ass team, like damn near a sellout. So you have this opportunity. You've got to hype up, even if it's your damn opponents. You've got to hype up the big name people that are coming to play in your stadium because, again, did everybody in the MAC know that Quinyon Mitchell was as good as he was? Because they knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, the coaches all knew. We knew. But were the fans educated? Because now they're sitting there watching this guy on the Eagles, and they're like, holy cow, dude, this guy played at Toledo? Yeah. And there's plenty other guys, not just like that, but there's plenty other ones out there. Now we know about Ashton Genty for everywhere in the Mountain West, but there's other NFL guys. There's other potential first-round picks running around. Anyway, we got football Thursday night, Jeff. 2 games. Texas State at Troy. Preseason, I would have told you this is the game of the century. I think I did say this was the Sun Belt Conference game of the year in our preseason poll. Texas State minus 13.5 at Troy. Troy's been one of the places that has struggled with this fan thing. The students leaving, they're going to Auburn rodeo, or they're going to watch Alabama play on TV or whatever they're doing. And I don't know. I mentioned it last week, man. They don't care about you. Why do you? I don't know. But anyway, for Troy, again, I think they're improving. This is a complete, it's not just, Summerall left, now we're bad. It's Summerall left as well as your whole roster, and now you've got 2 quarterbacks hurt. So you already haven't been very good offensively. Now you got 2 quarterbacks hurt. Texas State, I still think, is pretty good. That's kind of where I'm at on this. Are you in the same boat?
I am. I think Texas State is the more talented team overall. I think they are, they have the most experience on their roster. It's just, and especially losing to Sam Houston. And that game last week was so weird. You're at, the Houston Texans Stadium. I'm not making excuses for Texas State. Credit to Sam Houston. They won. They never gave up. They just hung around. They got turnovers, and that seemed to be the key. And once they lost momentum, they couldn't get it back. So credit Sam Houston. But I just think Texas State, after coming off of a loss, I think G.J. Kinney's going to have this team ready to go, fired up. I normally wouldn't like this line on the road, but I just think Texas State wants to make a statement. That's what I think. I think it's Sun Belt West matchup. I think they're going to be ready to go. Interested. Ismail Mahdi has had not the season we've thought he should have had. And I don't necessarily know if that's, the offensive line issue, or schematically, are they just throwing the ball more? I really got to dive in and look at it. But I think they got to try and find ways to get him the ball in space. It's not really working up the middle. He's so talented. He's so fast. Let's try and run maybe a little more screens, get him involved that way, get unique and figure out how to get this kid the ball in space. That is the key, because if he's in space, he's outrunning everybody. And then go to Troy's side. The bright spot they've had is Devontae Ross on the outside. But who can help supplement him? And then you've had the quarterback, injuries and shuffling around. Yeah, I just think that Texas State is the better team, and I think that'll end up showing out on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree. And then you look at that game last week for Texas State too. They go up 39-21. And then on their next 4 drives, I think 3 of their next 4 drives they have drive killing penalties. And then you turn it over on downs, you go 3 and out, you turn it over on downs, and then you run like 6 plays, you miss a field goal. That's your fourth quarter, that's your second half. Yeah, so you just, any chance you had to regain momentum, you killed it with a penalty. So I look for them to clean that up a little bit this week. Give me Texas State also.
Keep an eye on the Ben Bell, whether he's redshirting situation. Defensive end for Texas State. It's kind of pulling the, not NIL related, at least I haven't read that, but the Sluka move in redshirting or thinking about redshirting. Kenny says he's still coming to practice, but just trying to figure that out if he wants to save it. And I don't really understand why. Put good film on tape and you won't have to worry about anything else.
I hate this.
I do too.
I hate this, man. You've in the NFL, when guys hold out or they do stuff like this, it's a little different. It's much more so a business, and the other players understand that it's a business, and they've got agents, and they've got contracts, and they've got families, and they've got this and that. This is completely taking college football away from what it's supposed to be. And to me, I don't know. To me, you're either in or you're out. I don't like, you're still coming to practice for what? You're still on the sideline wearing your jersey? Why? I don't know, man. If you don't want to be a part of it, then
don't be a part of it.
Don't be a part of it. But we've talked about this ad nauseum here, is the data literally shows your chances to make the NFL are better if he was having a good season. Like, he was getting noticed. We were talking to scouts at their game that are looking at the guy. So now what? You're going to sit out a year. You're going to go somewhere else and maybe have some success. And okay, you're going to go. somewhere that has a bigger name than Texas State, no offense to anybody, but to quote Trent Dilfer, you're probably not going to freaking Alabama. So where are you going to go? TCU or something?
And get lost on their roster?
It's not even that. It's like you're in a system that's working.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to change that?
Well, not to make this comparison because you're talking one of the best in the NFL, but look at Max Crosby that was at Eastern Michigan. Dude put great film on tape, and the scout we were talking to was like, he's a kid that could possibly end up playing 100 snaps because of his motor, and or he could be playing no snaps. Like, we don't know, but he's got tools that could possibly translate to the next level. But you're not going to be able to showcase those tools if you're not on the field. If you sit this year out, you transfer, there's no guarantee you're going to get the same snaps that you are at Texas State. These guys are just, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and this is why you're seeing these programs hire general managers now in college football, because you have to literally manage a roster. I mean, you literally got guys that in the middle of seasons are walking away essentially. Speaking of Sam Houston, though, they go to UTEP. 2 home dogs this Thursday night for you, Jeff. But Sam Houston's -10. I got to tell you, if you look at Sam Houston the rest of the way,
Jeff,
they got a chance to be sitting there at like 10-1, and they play Liberty on the final week of the regular season. They'll be 10-1 undefeated in conference play. Now, they still got to play Western Kentucky. They still got some others. They still got to play UTEP. I mean, but this Sam Houston team, we said it all year last year that this is the best 0-8 or 1-9 or whatever they were at the time team we've ever seen. And yeah, I like Sam Houston a lot.
I do too. And they get wins. They get grimy wins. They're well coached. They play hard. Hunter Watson, when they figured out against Texas State that, hell, we can run the ball and they can't stop it. I mean, they were running quarterback power. Everything with him was just getting that extra blocker with the running back. And they were just at one point kind of imposing their will, running clock, running time. They have the third, ranked defense in the conference, and they're a game ahead of Liberty and Louisiana Tech right now, who's the 2 teams that are ranked better than them as far as yards per game given up. So you play stingy defense, control time of possession, run the ball. That is a recipe to beat a Liberty, to beat a Western. Sam Houston, man, they're hanging around. I think they take care of UTEP. Interested to see the crowd at UTEP. Great, opening crowd. They haven't won a game yet.
But now announced to the Mountain West, they're going to have some energy there.
Yep, sure are. So this is a game excited to watch.
See, that move fits to me. UTEP to the Mountain West makes sense to me. It's geographically, it makes a lot of sense. Some of these ones I don't get.
Better TV deal too.
You want to say something else about this Ben Bell situation and all these guys? I think as you grow older, you'll regret not finishing what you started, especially like in the middle of a season. More so than you would regret because you went undrafted free agent instead of getting drafted in the 7th round, or, probably not much would change as far as that goes. I think, Joe said in the comments, we talk about this all the time. The people that are in these kids' ear are just giving them bad advice. You're getting advice mostly from people that never were a part of something like this, and so they don't understand, and it's a selfish mentality. It is, no, man, you go get yours. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the team, and I think if you get to be 35, 40 years old watching football, you're going to probably think like, damn, dude, I had a chance to be part of a really special team and a really special group, and I walked away. For what? That's what I think most of these kids are going to have in their life. But I don't want to be a downer, but I think that's really what's going to happen. And it's not all just because you're going to say you missed out on some winning season. They might not win another game, and I think you'll still regret not being a part of being with your boys for that.
Yeah,
but
as you get older in life, things come into perspective, and just make the best decision you can for the right reasons. And I promise everything else that's supposed to happen in your life will happen.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, anyway, Jeff, we got some voicemails, I believe, right?
We sure do. I believe we got about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got some left over from the weekend, and we had a new one that came in yesterday that can't wait to get your take on, Sprouse.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 5 voicemails. You guys keep calling that hotline, 615-900-4286. Let's hear them.
Let's get right into it.
Meow, meow, meow. The kitty cats were kitty catting yesterday. How about them Eagles? Dude, holy cow, that one feels so freaking good. 3-2 going into the bye week. We finally get the running game going. 265 as a team on 45 carries, 5.9 yards per carry, 4 tutties as a team. Jalen White, 22 carries, 114, 2 tugs, 5.2 yards per carry. O.J. Arnold, 11 carries, 110 yards, 10 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Holy, not a bleep, F. We'll keep it F. We'll keep it clean. The kitty cats were kitty cat. I mean, honestly, how does that taste, Gag State? You try to ban freedom from the game. You changed it to modern day hate, from modern day hate to the Georgia Grown Bowl, which, Sprouse and Murph, I will tell y'all off air, I did find a little detail about that. But with that being said, all I can say, both schools got a crap load of money to the collective and to athletics, so kind of hard to pass up. But Georgia Southern wins modern day hate, got a bye week coming up, and then we host Marshall, baby. Georgia Southern, the Eagles are looking good. The kitty cats, eat it, baby! Hail Southern.
Appreciate you, Josh. You should be fired up. Georgia Southern's in a good spot.
A good ball club.
They're in a good spot. Bye week, you get Marshall at home. Just saying.
Marshall at home next week, Jeff?
I believe he said they were on a bye. I have to look at their.
They're on a bye this week.
This week, yeah. Then you get Marshall at home coming off the bye, which we've been talking about. We think Marshall's pretty good. What you got?
All right.
What you got? What's stewing in that brain over there, Sprouse?
Well, I love a good trip to Statesboro, Georgia, is all I'm saying, Jeff. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Appreciate you, Josh. Good things happening in Statesboro, Georgia. Let's get to our next one. It's part 2 of Terry Johnson's call.
Group of 5 guys calling y'all back.
Caught his breath.
He did.
Yeah, I'm it's 1:22 in the morning on the West Coast, and I can't sleep, man. I know you don't want people to call back twice, but so happy my Cajuns won. I'm really calm now. I'm proud of Coach Dez. Happy I was wrong, despite the adversity. The Cajuns pulled out a win. 4 bullshit targeting calls, a bullshit roughing the passer in, and they still doinked the field goal to win the game. And it was an awesome ending for the Cajuns, man. We deserved it. I'm happy to be wrong. Defense still needs to get some sacks. They got a key turnover at the end of the game to get the lead. Offense is playing amazing. I'm just proud of this coaching staff, proud of this team. And win, lose, draw, I'm happy to be a Cajun, man. It's so fucking, you just can't buy this shit. This feeling right here, you can't buy it, bro. And the Power 4 teams, as much money and all the recruiting budget, the big recruiting budget they have, you know what I'm saying, everything they have to be successful, we have a fraction of that shit. We still came in there, we still won. Should have won by 3 touchdowns. F them. F the ACC. F their refs. They bullshit now. ULM got a good win today against Troy also. Texas State. Hey, other than creme brulee, the entire Texas State fan base needs to be humbled because I don't know why they're trying to go to the Mountain West or the Pac-12 as if, hey, good for them, hey, if they go. But, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty good that Texas State got humbled. Love you, creme brulee. You're the only one that it seems that really sane over online on Twitter. Praying for App State, man. Hope y'all get back. Hope Boom gets back to normal. Praying for y'all. Georgia Southern got a big win against Georgia State. WKU and IU couldn't pull off the upsets, but man, really good showing in my opinion from the Group of 5 being competitive. And you know what I'm saying? Like this is it's a really good ball. Western Kentucky and IU should have got those wins today. But shout out to, Haj Malik Williams, beats the brakes off of, Fresno, beats brakes off of Fresno. And I'm sad that Boise State game on the 25th of October, man, is going to be on Friday because if UNLV is undefeated and Boise State it wins out, that's a college game day, like destination right there. You know what I'm saying? And, we got Southern Miss coming up. Hopefully we can get the win. I'll be cautious, but just happy right now. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go f***ing Cajuns.
I had my work cut out with the bleep button on that one.
Yeah, you did. Love it for Terry, man. Love it for Terry. Love it for the Cajuns. Have we heard from Creme Brulee in a while?
Not in a little bit. I've had a couple conversations with him off space during DM messages, but it's what you get, Terry, when you're a loyal fan and you care. When you get these wins, man, you feel it just like you're a player. So good for you, brother. We'll keep it rolling.
No doubt.
It's our boy Zachary Branner.
What's up, fellas? It's Zachary Branner. I haven't called in a while. Been busy, and we just announced we're having another baby girl, so I'm about to be outnumbered even more. I've been getting my hands full. But I did want to call in and, under different circumstances this season, and we understand, for the realistic people, alumnus, former football players for Troy, we understand what it takes. I mean, hell, my freshman year, we went 4-8. It was a tough time, but then went on to have 3 straight 10-plus win seasons, 2 big wins over Power 5s. Really, you should have had 3, but we lost in Death Valley in the fourth quarter of the year. Clemson won the national championship in 2016. For the fan base of Troy, Trojan Nation, for those who are realistic and for those who are not realistic, this is kind of more for y'all, understand what we lost. We returned 1 starter on defense. We had to replace 8 or 9 guys on offense. Understanding that's not an uncommon thing, but it is also a very difficult thing to do on top of bringing in a brand new coaching staff, right? But then there are those that are complaining but also are not contributing, and that is contributing to the Trojan collective. I'm not going to cuss. I'm trying to get better at that. Again, having 2 little baby girls. Put your money where your mouth is. Stop complaining. Help. Donate to the collective. Help out. Help keep guys in Troy. Help bring guys into Troy. I mean, dang. Jabri Barber at A&M for money. Tez Johnson went to Oregon. More money. T.J. Jackson, West Virginia. More money. Are y'all kind of picking that up now? What needs to happen? Don't be an energy vampire and sucking the life out of people. Man, really contribute. Help out the team you love. And that's it. But forever and always, one Troy, man, we got this. Again, we're Troy. We got it.
Congratulations, Zach. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. Congrats, buddy.
It takes a lot to build a great program. Troy has the pieces in place. I feel like in their collective, in the university, that they're always going to be competitive. You're replacing so much from a year ago. But he's right. If you want to bitch and moan and complain, put your money where your mouth is. Donate to the collective, get involved, and be a part of building a great program.
Yep. Amen.
All right, let's get to our last 2 callers. We'll get to Zach Green, and then we'll get to that new one.
What's up, guys? Zach Green here. Just want to call in and give some thoughts about the situation going on in Western North Carolina. First off, I want to acknowledge just how horrible things are out there. I know based on what I'm seeing and hearing, it's going to be major property damage, probably significant loss of life as well. Looks like a couple of towns are pretty much destroyed. So horrible situation. Thank you, Baker and Stu, for kind of sharing with me some things that you were hearing and you were aware of to help me understand just how serious it was. And I'm thankful that the two of you guys are okay, but I know you know people out in the mountains that may or may not be. So my prayers go to those people, to the people at App State, to the people in Boone, and the people in Western North Carolina, because it's a truly horrible situation. And I thank you, Group of Five guys, for putting that GoFundMe together to support recovery efforts. I think that was a fantastic way to use your platform, and I would encourage anybody that hasn't donated that yet that can't afford it to pitch in a little money to help out a community in need. Secondly, though, I do want to address kind of some allegations from the Liberty side that, App State was ducking the game. A couple of players said something to that effect on social media. And what I don't think that was, and then some fans got in on it as well. I talked about it a little bit. I didn't personally get really trolly or aggressive about it. But what I don't think that was people looking at the disaster and thinking, oh, they're just faking this. This isn't real. We should be playing in Boone on Saturday. What I do think it was based on a sentiment, maybe within the program, but also that got posted on a Sea of Red, that Liberty had tried to work with App State for several days to get the game relocated, even offered to pay travel expenses, but details couldn't be ironed out. That's what was reported. Maybe that's what the players were thinking when they posted that. Now I have some doubts about the truth of that, but in the moment, or maybe that was just one-sided, but in the moment you see that as a fan or as a player and you think, man, can't play on Saturday, but doesn't look like they're trying to play us at all. And so I could see maybe that being a long-term discussion that we need to have, and I don't think it was hateful. But I do look back and think, you know what, that was a foolish discussion to be having on Friday and Saturday when this horrible stuff was going on. So I regret my role in that. We should have just prayed and shut off social media and moved on with our days. But so I regret that. I apologize for my role in that. I think other people regret that too. And I know a lot of Liberty fans didn't even engage with it. So, but I do wish everybody the best in Western North Carolina and hope the recovery efforts go well. So I'll just close by saying shout out to Sam Houston, big win for CUSA, and shout out to Terry's Raging Cajuns. I know he was fired up about that. So God bless Conference USA, go Flames, and God bless Western North Carolina.
Appreciate you, Zach. And I think that's the exact take, you should have as a Liberty fan. Like within the time, like you didn't really know exactly what happened. So things are going to be said, but in hindsight, it's just football.
Yeah. And I think I guess in a little bit of defense of those people, I don't think anybody, cause I didn't realize how bad it was until even like kind of recently. So I think they probably thought, oh, it's any other storm. I mean, most of these things, how I always say, Jeff, whenever we would get a hurricane, nobody even we didn't even care.
Yeah.
We were like, perfect. You stock up on whatever you need to. We're going to have parties. We're going to go to our friends. Like we're just basically off school is all we thought, So I don't think anybody thought it was going to be as bad. And maybe the people of North Carolina were sort of prepared for how bad it was going to be. And that may be why they weren't able to come to a rescheduling agreement or anything like that.
Well, I appreciate you, Zach, as always. And we'll get to our last one, and then we'll
I want to know about this, Jeff.
We'll get out of here. No, I mean, he's a Liberty fan, so we'll play it and we'll talk about it.
Hey, Group of Five guys. My name is Nate, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just want to start things out by giving you guys a shout-out. Awesome job covering the Group of Five. I love that you guys do that for sure. So I'm a Liberty fan, and just calling in, wanted to make a comment about, I was listening to your episode about the App State game and Salter's comments, and want to just give a few thoughts here and run it by you guys. So just been listening to everyone, and everyone's been complaining about how inappropriate Salter's comments was, how awful they were, and blah, blah, blah. But really, there's a couple things that people aren't considering. Number one, I know you guys have said this about not being really like Christian-like to make those comments, but honestly, there's nothing unchristian-like about saying you think somebody's ducking you. Like, why is that unchristian-like? I don't understand. That's totally appropriate. And for all the fans that say, well, it's inappropriate because of everything that happened at Boone with the hurricane. But hold on a minute. Salter's comments were not that he was mad that they didn't play the game. His comments were because they wouldn't reschedule it. And to be consistent, App State fans, if you would need to not schedule any more home games. You shouldn't be able to play any home games then if that was really your excuse. But it's not. You just didn't want to reschedule the game. That's the problem that Salter has, and that's perfectly acceptable. I don't feel like the comments were all that out of line. There's no reason why we couldn't reschedule the game. There's no reason why. You and I both know a group of guys that App State's going to go out there and they're going to play the rest of their home games. So it's not because of hurricane that they can't reschedule. So it feels to me like this is a little disingenuous. But that's my thought. I just think that Salter and Liberty got a little bit unfair treatment there. And as far as your comments about, well, we already have this stereotype about us, about being a Christian diploma mill, you know what? People hate us anyways. We're used to it. Most schools hate us because of who we are and what we stand for, even if they won't admit it. It is what it is. So I just don't find that these comments are all that objectionable because, again, it's about rescheduling. That's the issue. Why can't we reschedule? There's no reason why App State cannot reschedule this game. If it was anyone but Liberty, they would have. 100%. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being a long-time listener. First-time caller.
Yeah, no doubt. I like who you get those. It feels like a real radio show. You know what I mean?
Does.
People always say first time, long time. Well, okay, a couple things. He's probably right. People are going to hate him anyway, but which is why I think they have to be careful about being living to a higher standard. As far as the Salter thing goes, my issue with it is he then apologized for it in a real smart ass way, and then he apologized again. And he never, I get it if it's about rescheduling, but at the same time, you're having that conversation while people are dying, essentially. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
People's lives are being, uprooted, if not worse. So I think that's where you have to be careful with what you say. Yeah, I don't think it's like, to use his word, like Christian like to say somebody's scared of you, but I think there's a time and place for everything, and that wasn't the time or the place at all. And then I don't know, are they playing
I don't know
the rest of their home games? Because I've actually seen some other stuff they were going to play elsewhere.
If it's in the next couple weeks, I don't think they play a home game. Now we'll see as reports come out and what the damage. The town was flooded. Like, roads are gone. There's certain ways you can't even get in. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. I mean, we personally didn't say the comments were unchristian. Like, we were talking about just being Christian, caring about others, and helping others in time of need. So I don't know if that was just kind of misheard. On that part.
I've said in that regard, and I've said it earlier this year for some of their unsportsmanlike penalties that they were having earlier in the season too. Is it's you just are held to a higher standard. You just are, because of your. People are looking for you to mess up.
Yeah.
At that point, right? And so, I don't know. I mean, I guess he made some good points. I just think it's a terrible time to be having that discussion at all.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how a lot of people didn't know exactly how bad it was when it was going on. So I get that. You talked about the apology. The other thing is it's a non-conference game, and whether I know this game was extremely important for Liberty, not really important for App State. So do you want App State to have to go out of their way to reschedule a non-conference game when, I get you were supposedly offering to pay for all their funds, but what matters is conference. You have to win your conference in order to be even considered for that playoff spot. So, like, I get it, how important it was for Liberty, but in this time and moment, really not important for App State. Not in any shape, form, or fashion. You can like that answer. You cannot like that answer, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think you're right. Liberty definitely needs that game a lot more than App needs that game. And I think that's where some of the Liberty frustration's coming from too, right? And they've been hearing that they don't play anybody for 2 years now. And here was their chance to play somebody and they don't get it. So I get that frustration. I don't know. I mean, when and where were you going to play it is the other part.
No.
I think they both might be off later this month. But I don't know. It's kind of like this, okay? Because this came to my attention last night. Pete Rose passed away yesterday or the day before, maybe. And jackasses at ESPN write a hit piece on him,
I saw that.
less than half a day after he dies. And there's nothing that I hate more than stuff like that. No matter how big of a piece of crap somebody may or may not have been, right? It's like they die and not a year later, not on some anniversary of a controversial thing, but it's like, oh, they're dead now. Let me destroy their character a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean and again, that's not necessarily what I think these Liberty people were doing, but it's similar. There's just like a time for those kind of things, and there's a time to just let people grieve and let people worry about anything but football for a minute. But anyway,
that's all we got.
To each his own. I promise you, he's not the only one that feels that way. That caller.
Yeah.
So that's all we got, Jeff.
That's it.
Well, hey, we'll catch you Friday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern time. If this is your first time listening or checking in on the live chat, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some big games Thursday night. Can't wait to watch. We got another big weekend of college football. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. We're out of here.